Scientists sent a camera 7 miles down into complete darkness. What came back made them question everything they thought they knew about life on Earth. We're talking about the Mariana Trench, the deepest scar on the planet, where the pressure could crush a human like a grape, and the cold would kill you before the lack of oxygen even got a chance. And yet, down there in that alien world, things are thriving. Not just surviving, thriving. So buckle up, because we're diving into 9 creatures that were found by complete accident in the deepest place on Earth. And trust me, number 4 is gonna make you never want to go swimming again. Let's start with something that sounds like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. Picture this. It's 2014, and a research team drops a camera into the trench. They're not expecting much. Maybe some microbes, perhaps a weird rock formation. What they get instead? The Mariana snailfish. Now I know what you're thinking. A snailfish? That sounds about as threatening as a wet paper bag. But here's the thing. This little guy is surviving at depths where the pressure is over 1,000 times what we experience at sea level. That's like having 50 jumbo jets stacked on top of your thumbnail. The snailfish doesn't just survive this. It's completely unbothered by it. The crazy part? It's see-through. I'm not talking slightly translucent. This fish is basically a swimming X-ray. You can see its bones, its organs, everything just floating around in there like some kind of biological snow globe. Scientists didn't even think vertebrates could exist at these depths. The textbooks literally said it was impossible. And then this fish shows up like it didn't get the memo. But why is it transparent? Well, at 7 miles down, there's no sunlight. Zero. Zilch. So camouflage doesn't mean blending into the scenery. It means becoming invisible. No pigment, no color, just pure ghostly existence. The Mariana snailfish essentially said, if I can't hide behind something, I'll just make sure there's nothing to see. And here's the kicker. This fish doesn't have scales. Instead, it's covered in a gel-like layer that helps it withstand the pressure. It's like nature gave it a built-in pressure suit made of jello. Evolutionary adaptation at its finest, folks. And this one's gonna make you uncomfortable. Meet the giant amphipod. Now you might be familiar with regular amphipods, those little shrimp-like creatures you see at the beach, maybe an inch long, totally harmless. Well, take that mental image and throw it in the trash. Because the ones in the Mariana Trench are the size of your forearm. We're talking about crustaceans that look like they hit the gym, got on some serious supplements and decided to become the stuff of nightmares. These things were discovered when researchers sent down a trap with some dead fish as bait. What they pulled up was basically a swarm of underwater bodybuilders fighting over a free meal. One specimen measured over 13 inches long. That's longer than a standard ruler. Scientists call this phenomenon deep-sea gigantism, which is just a fancy way of saying everything gets weirdly huge down there. The leading theory: cold temperatures and high pressure slow down metabolism. So these creatures live longer and keep growing. It's like someone hit the slow-mo button on aging, and these amphipods just kept getting bigger and bigger. But here's what really freaks me out. These things are scavengers. Anything that dies and sinks to the bottom of the Mariana Trench becomes an all-you-can-eat buffet for these guys. They swarm dead animals like piranhas, stripping flesh from bone in a matter of hours. The ocean floor is basically a horror movie, and these amphipods are the cleanup crew. Now let's talk about creature number 3, the Dumbo octopus. And yes, it's called that, because it looks exactly like the Disney character. This octopus has ear-like fins that it flaps to move through the water. And honestly, it's adorable. If nightmare fuel could be cute, this would be it. The Dumbo octopus was discovered during a deep-sea expedition in the 1990s. But sightings are incredibly rare. These octopuses live at depths of up to 23,000 feet, making them the deepest living octopuses known to science. Think about that for a second. While we're up here arguing on Twitter and eating cereal, these little guys are just vibing in near total darkness, flapping their ear fins like they're auditioning for a Pixar movie. What makes them special? Unlike their shallow water cousins, Dumbo octopuses don't have ink sacs. Makes sense, right? There's no light down there, so squirting ink would be like trying to hide in a closet by turning off a light that's already off. Instead, they rely on their ability to blend into the soft sediment on the ocean floor. These octopuses also have a weird feeding strategy. They pounce on their prey, which usually consists of worms and small crustaceans, and swallow them whole. No beak tearing, no tentacle strangulation, just gulp and done. Efficiency at its finest. And here's a fun fact. Scientists think there might be multiple species of Dumbo octopus, but because they're so hard to find and study, we're not even sure how many exist. Every time researchers go down there, they find one that looks slightly different. It's like nature's version of collectible trading cards, except way harder to complete the set. Alright, creature number 4. Remember when I said this one would make you never want to go swimming again? Meet the fangtooth fish. This thing looks like it was designed by someone who really hates joy. The fangtooth has teeth so large in proportion to its body that it physically cannot close its mouth. Imagine walking around with your jaw permanently open because your teeth are too big. That's this fish's entire existence. The teeth are so long that they actually have special sockets in the fish's skull so the fangs don't pierce its own brain when it closes its mouth. Evolution really said, let's make this thing as metal as possible. This nightmare was first discovered in the late 1800s, but it wasn't until much later that researchers realized these fish regularly visit the depths of the Mariana Trench. They're vertical migrators, meaning they travel up and down the water column depending on the time of day. During the day, they hang out in the deep dark abyss. At night, they rise to shallower waters to feed. Why the giant teeth? When food is scarce, you can't afford to let anything escape. Those fangs act like prison bars, trapping prey that would otherwise slip away. The fangtooth doesn't chase its food, it ambushes it. It's game over. Despite looking like something from your worst fever dream, the fangtooth is only about 6 inches long. But what it lacks in size, it makes up for in pure, unadulterated terror. If this fish were the size of a great white shark, we'd have a serious problem on our hands. Let's lighten the mood slightly with creature number 5, the barley fish. This one's weird, but in a fascinating way rather than a nightmare-inducing way. The barley has a transparent head, not see-through like the snailfish. I mean, this thing has a literal dome-shaped skull filled with fluid, and you can see its eyeballs floating inside. They thought the specimens were damaged. Nobody believed a fish could actually have a transparent skull on purpose. But nope, that's just how it's built. The eyes point upward, allowing the fish to look through its own head to spot prey silhouetted against the faint light filtering down from above. The really crazy part, those eyes can rotate. Inside the fluid-filled dome, the eyeballs swivel around to track movement. It's like the fish has a built-in periscope made out of its own face. When it spots something interesting above, the eyes point up. When it's time to eat, they rotate forward. Nature really got creative with this one. Burley fish were first photographed alive in 2004, and the footage blew scientists' minds. Before that, we only had dead specimens that had been trawled up from the deep, and the transparent dome would always collapse during the journey. It took until the 21st century for us to realize this fish has one of the most bizarre adaptations in the entire ocean. Now we're halfway through, and things are about to get even weirder. Creature number 6 is the sea pig. Yes, that's really what it's called. And yes, it looks exactly like what you're imagining. Pink. Blob. With little tube feet waddling around on the ocean floor. Sea pigs are actually a type of sea cucumber, and they were discovered in the Mariana Trench completely by accident when deep-sea cameras captured them roaming the seafloor in herds. These things travel in groups like underwater livestock, grazing on the organic matter that rains down from above. What makes them accidentally hilarious is how they move. Those little tube feet inflate with water to lift them off the seafloor, and they just sort of bumble around like drunk sausages. Scientists have observed hundreds of them congregating in one area, all facing the same direction, slowly marching toward their next meal. It's oddly adorable and deeply unsettling at the same time. Sea pigs also have a weird relationship with the ocean currents. They position themselves to face the current, because that's the direction organic matter comes from. It's like they're standing at a buffet line waiting for food to float directly into their mouths. Work smarter, not harder. Right. We've never seen them mating. Never found their larvae. Nothing. They just exist down there, waddling around like little pink mysteries. For all we know, they're immortal beings that have been roaming the trench since the dawn of time. Creature number 7 is the supergiant amphipod. And no, that's not a typo. Remember those giant amphipods from earlier? Well, there's an even bigger version. Because apparently regular giant wasn't terrifying enough. This monster was discovered in 2012 when researchers exploring the Mariana Trench deployed a deep-sea lander. They expected to see the usual suspects, maybe some snailfish, a few regular-sized amphipods. What showed up was something straight out of a kaiju movie. This amphipod measured over 13 inches, but some estimates suggest even larger ones could exist. The supergiant amphipod doesn't just scavenge, it actively hunts smaller creatures. Researchers have observed them attacking and eating other deep-sea organisms with a level of aggression that's frankly disturbing. These things have serrated legs that they use to tear apart their prey. It's like someone took a shrimp, gave it knives for feet, and told it to go wild. What's even crazier is that these amphipods can survive without food for months. Down in the Mariana Trench, meals are rare. When a whale carcass or a large fish sinks to the bottom, it's a feeding frenzy. But between those events, these creatures enter a low-energy state, barely moving, just waiting for the next opportunity. Scientists believe these supergiants could live for decades, possibly even longer. Their slow metabolism and extreme environment mean aging happens at a crawl. It's entirely possible that some of the amphipods we've seen are older than most of the people reading this. Alright, creature number 8, the frilled shark. And when I say living fossil, I mean it looks exactly like sharks did 80 million years ago. The frilled shark was accidentally captured during a deep-sea trawling expedition, and scientists couldn't believe what they were seeing. This shark has 300 teeth arranged in 25 rows, and they're all needle-sharp and backward-facing. Once something gets caught in that mouth, it's not getting out. The frilled shark doesn't bite down and tear like a great white. Instead, it swallows prey whole, using those teeth to guide the victim down its throat. It's basically a living eel with a shark's attitude. The body is long and serpentine, reaching lengths of up to 7 feet, and it moves through the water like a sea snake. Ancient sailors probably saw these things and thought they were sea serpents. Honestly, they weren't that far off. What's really fascinating is that the frilled shark hunts by ambush. It coils its body like a spring, then launches itself at prey with explosive speed. In the pitch-black depths of the Mariana Trench, victims don't see it coming until it's too late. One moment you're a squid, just minding your own business. The next you're being swallowed by a prehistoric monster. Scientists think the frilled shark can go months between meals, storing energy in its massive liver. When food is scarce, it goes into a low-energy mode, barely moving, just drifting through the darkness waiting for its next victim. Patience is key when you're a living relic from the age of dinosaurs. And finally, creature number 9. The Mariana Hattle snailfish. Didn't we already talk about a snailfish? Yes, but this is a different species, and it holds a very special record. It's the deepest living fish ever recorded, found at a depth of 27,000 feet. That's over 5 miles straight down. At this depth, the pressure is so intense that most materials would crumble. Steel would buckle, concrete would crack, but this tiny gelatinous fish is just thriving. Scientists accidentally discovered it during a 2017 expedition when they dropped cameras into the Challenger Deep, the deepest part of the Mariana Trench. So what makes this snailfish different from its cousin? It's even smaller, even more delicate, and it has almost no skeletal structure. It's mostly soft tissue held together by what can only be described as sheer determination and stubbornness. Evolution stripped away everything unnecessary and left behind the bare minimum needed to survive in the most extreme environment on the planet. This fish doesn't have swim bladders because those would implode under the pressure. It doesn't have scales because they're too rigid. It's basically a swimming bag of proteins and amino acids, perfectly adapted to a world where everything else would die instantly. The fact that vertebrate life can exist at these depths changed everything scientists thought they knew about biology. There were theoretical limits to how deep life could go, and this little fish just ignored all of them. It's proof that life finds a way, even in the most impossible places. So there you have it. 9 creatures that were found completely by accident in the deepest, darkest place on Earth. Each one more bizarre than the last. Each one perfectly adapted to a world we can barely comprehend. The Mariana Trench isn't just a hole in the ocean floor. It's an alien planet right here on Earth. And we've only scratched the surface of what's down there. Makes you wonder what else is lurking in the darkness, waiting to be discovered. Sleep tight.